Let's get to some
let's jump
here.
into some sports here, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the Browns after a quick word from FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game so you can stay with the action starting from the opening tip-off, or you can stay in the fourth quarter to bet on a comeback. No matter when it is, FanDuel has bets for you to play. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS for your shot at $150 in bonus bets if you're a new FanDuel customer. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. We start, though, guys, with the Browns and their decision at number 2. We talked during yesterday's show about the pressure the team may be feeling to draft a quarterback. Shedeur Sanders confirmed yesterday that his first official top 30 visit will be with the Browns. And then there was a clip from Nathan Zagura on Cleveland Browns Daily yesterday that I thought would kind of be a good lead into our topic. So let's listen to Nathan Zagura on what the Browns should do with the number 2 pick, and then we'll dive into our conversation. But this is Nathan Zagura from Browns Daily.
I know Mel Kiper's got Shedeur and Cam Ward, in the top 4?
He had 1-3, 1-4.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And guess what? That position is more important than all the other positions combined.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Browns fans just in general, and maybe in other cities it's happening as well, where they're scared to draft a quarterback, and they'd rather do something that's safer.
100%.
I don't understand that. What would be worse? What's worse? Trading down or not taking the quarterback and watching them blow up and solve another team's quarterback issues,
right,
or taking the quarterback and he doesn't work out. Guess what? Then you get to do it again. And you do it and you do it and you do it until you get it right.
Yes.
Because until we have a quarterback, none of this matters.
None of it.
So, bold, Dustin, Jason,
Yeah.
You heard what Nathan said. We talked about the possible pressure from the fan base to draft a guy because if you don't and he pans out elsewhere, that could be the worst-case scenario. No, G's not here to defend his side
You
of
took that. I mean, that's not nearly the first thing I take out of what he said.
No, I'm just saying that led off of what we started yesterday, and G. Bush isn't here to kind of back up his claim. But
right.
What was G's claim?
So, no, that it's worse it'd be worse if the Browns passed on the quarterback and he was good somewhere else than if the Browns took him and he ended up being a bust.
Okay, all right. Okay. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't really care if the Browns don't take him, I don't care if he's good or not.
Right.
I mean,
I'm kind of with that.
Yeah, I also felt like it's worse. I said.
And that's why I didn't want to start because G was here to argue that side.
Yeah, right. Let's move on.
So I just wanted to lead into that with Nathan's comments. What you take away from Nathan?
Well, yeah, what he's
spot on.
What he said, there's some truth to what but the fans being nervous about that's irrelevant in the end.
Yeah.
He's right about that part. Fans are always scared. And the reason fans are always scared is because the Browns have always gotten it wrong. The Browns keep getting it wrong at quarterback.
Yeah.
And so, the fans are scared, but that's ultimately irrelevant as to what, or at least it should be.
Right.
If Andrew, we've said this once and say it a million times. If Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, Jimmy Haslam, whoever's ultimately making that pick, if they're influenced by the fans or the media, they suck at what they do.
They'll
they
be
should
sitting.
not be.
I said this before. When I was covering the NBA, I was talking to a GM who said, "Listen, you can't worry about what the fans. If you worry about what the fans think and say, you're going to be sitting with them next year.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could do." I agree with the last thing he said is what I've said on the show until you get the quarterback right, nothing else matters.
That's correct.
Where I think I disagree with him a little bit is that doesn't mean you just start swinging wildly. If you're ownership, you have to go to the GM and say, I don't care what anybody else says, I pay you for your evaluation. Is this guy worth taking or not?
That's right.
And if you're going to stand up on the table and say, this is our guy, I don't care what anybody else says, you take him. Because it is the most important position. But if you stand there and say, I don't like him, I don't think he's the guy, why would you take him at that point? Because the logic to me then is, just take a quarterback with every pick.
Right.
Every single draft pick you have, take a quarterback because we suck at this. And by God, eventually we have to throw a dart that hits something. So every pick we have, let's just take a quarter. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So
And yes, the argument against that would be, well, there's a great quarterback every year, but there's not. Most years, most drafts,
I think there is. But that doesn't mean you take him second overall.
That's true, but there isn't. It's not the year Kenny Pickett, whatever year that was. There's nobody good in that draft.
It was the Brock Purdy.
Oh, Brock Purdy wasn't.
Yeah. So there's always one, but you don't take Brock Purdy with the second overall pick.
Well, but maybe they should have. Look, like I don't. The point is that you don't. Yes, the quarterback is so much more important than anything else. And
100%.
yes, shout out to Mike for I couldn't think of the word punitive before, and he popped it back in my head. It's not as punitive if you draft a quarterback and blow it than it used to be back in the day when you were paying the quarterback $25 million.
Or look at the Cardinals with Josh Rosen, and then they got back the very next year.
And it was a non-factor.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. If you get it wrong, okay, you can move on. That doesn't mean you should draft a quarterback in the first round every year until you get one, unless you truly believe there's somebody worth it. Now, on the other hand, the GM can't be like the fans and be scared to get it wrong at quarterback and don't take a quarterback for that reason.
I agree with that.
That would be a mistake too. Go ahead, Dustin.
So the question is, can the Browns afford to pass on a quarterback with the number 2 pick, right? Okay. Yeah, the Browns can.
Yes.
But Andrew Berry can't, and Kevin Stefanski can't. That's why they need to take a quarterback at 2, because those guys, if Cam or Shedeur turn out to not be good players, okay.
They're going to get fired.
They're going to get fired. Guess what else? If they draft a safe player or a defensive end or whatever it may be at 2, and they still don't have a quarterback, they're going to get fired. So you got to just pray and hope. The only way I think these guys keep their jobs and come back is if the quarterback, one of those 2 guys, ends up becoming a good player.
If that's the case, that's a terrible situation for the organization
but dude,
to be in.
How can it be any other case?
It seems like that's the case.
I think it's pretty obvious.
I would argue that if Andrew Berry says to Jimmy, listen, none of these quarterbacks are worth taking in the first round. I'll take one of them. I'll take the guy that I think is the best of the bunch, but I don't think any of them are that good. I think at best they're lower tier starters, and I think we'd be wasting this high draft capital to take them. So what I'm going to do here is take this defensive lineman or take Travis Hunter or take an offensive lineman, whatever. We're going to bring in a veteran quarterback, and we're going to be,
I'm just telling you right now, Adam,
Yeah.
and you know this team as well as I do.
I know.
Okay, because we've done it the same amount of time. Jimmy Haslam could tell Andrew Berry that, and they could have that conversation.
That's true.
And still fire him.
He
Yes.
could absolutely
Right,
could
but
still fire him.
What if they do sign Kirk Cousins, for example? I'll just throw him out there. And whoever they draft ends up being a really good player. It looks good as a rookie, not a quarterback. Guy plays good. The team's competitive because they could be even without a rookie quarterback. The Browns could be. They're almost definitely not making the playoffs.
It's the NFL. Any team
They
can
could be competitive. Yes, and let's say they win 6-7 games next year. Are they getting fired? I don't think they are.
We have to see it.
It depends on
man.
what they look like.
We have to see it.
Yes.
We have to. What are those narratives? Like how are they playing from
That's
week
right.
to week? Is the defense struggling? How's the defense going to be without Myles Garrett? Most likely. Like
This
all
is a
of these
terrible
things,
situation
It's
that the Browns
awful.
are in.
It's awful. It's no win, and they're not going to win soon, unless one of those. I'm telling you right now. Unless one of those guys is the next Jaden Daniels, it's going to be a long road here, folks.
And right now, the only thing I'll say about the quarterbacks, because you said it, Jason, right now, everybody that covers the draft thinks these quarterbacks are not special.
Did you hear what Albert said yesterday?
I did not. What did he say?
If this was last year, they may not go in the first round.
Okay. But what is that based on? Like him speaking to some
Other
GMs?
teams, yeah.
Now, even guys like Albert get misinformation sent their way.
Well, yes, but usually when you're talking to other teams that don't have a dog in the fight, they're a little bit more honest.
Right, that's true.
What I would say is, I'm not paying those other teams. I'm paying you.
That's right.
You are the one I'm listening to. You are the one. You're the opinion I value, Andrew Berry. You're the expert on this. I want to know what you and your staff say. I don't care what the Bills say, what the Ravens say, what the Steelers say. What do you say? If you tell me they're not worth it, then we're going to listen to that and we're going to go with that. If you tell me it's close and it's worth a shot, then we'll take the swing. But what do you say? I don't care what anybody else thinks.
And everybody else, like you said, there could be 28 GMs that don't think either of these quarterbacks are worthy of a top 5 pick. And if Andrew Berry's one of the 4 that does believe it,
Right.
then he should absolutely take it.
And it doesn't matter what bullshit they come up with to say to us on draft night. That doesn't matter. What matters is what AB and his staff say to Jimmy Haslam in the room
Right.
after the combine, after all, when they're building out the board.
Yes.
That's the and we may never know the truth on that, but that's the conversation that matters. What they say then in that room of, you know what, it's close, I don't love them, but we need something, or absolutely not, or
Yes.
absolutely yes.
So Nathan is right that you have nothing. Like, I was busting Jay's balls yesterday about how, now you could win different ways. You can't really win different ways. You have to have a good quarterback. You don't have to have Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl, but you have to have a good quarterback to win a
Right.
Super Bowl.
Right.
The Eagles don't go to the Super Bowl if Daniel Jones was their quarterback last year. I don't care if Saquon Barkley ran for 4,000 yards. So you got to have a good quarterback, and ultimately you're getting nowhere. You're not a real contender, and at the very least, with a good quarterback, your floor is competitive. That's your floor when you have a good quarterback, no matter how inefficient the rest of the team is. But I've lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
I lost my train of thought there. Where was I going with
Shout
that?
out to Sia one more time and you'll come back.
See ya.
Jeez.
You're old.
You're
You're on blood pressure meds.
I just lost that
senile.
train of thought right there. It was about the quarterback. And here, I got it. So
And it's back.
ultimately,
He's back, folks.
Sia, shout out Sia.
Nathan is right that you have nothing until the quarterback, and he's
Yes.
right that fans are scared and
Yes.
fans are. But ultimately, and you have to keep taking shots on some level, whether it's free agency, trade, first round pick, second round pick, late round. You keep taking shots at quarterback.
Right.
The Browns should draft a quarterback at some point.
I'm with
in this
Garrett.
draft.
They should take 2.
I think they
Fine.
should take 2 as well.
Yeah.
Fine. But you don't just take a quarterback in the first round every year until you need one. That's it. You don't do that every year unless there's somebody you think is worth
but
it.
Adam, they don't have the number 2 or number 1 pick every year either. So
That's true.
like
That's
they've
true.
got the pick of the draft. Whether those guys are good or not is to be determined, and that's on Andrew Berry's cojones are on the line here.
Yeah.
He is being paid and has been paid to make this team a good, competent football team and have a competent quarterback. They haven't had one. The Watson thing has been a disaster. We don't know who the hell officially signed off on that or said we got to do this. Was it Barry? Was it Haslam? Whatever. I don't care. Point is, it sucked and it didn't work. Now you got to do a lot more work to make up for the mistake you made.
Yeah.
The Browns have had a top 2 pick, I believe, 4 times since '99. They took Tim Couch.
Yep. Courtney Brown. Baker
so 5 times.
Baker Mayfield.
So they blew it with
Myles Garrett.
Yep.
Yes.
This is at least
This
5.
will be the 5th time. So with Tim Couch, they blew it. I mean, I don't know that any quarterback would.
I don't think
I don't know if they blew it, Tim
blew
Couch, man. Tim
Yeah.
Couch is a baller.
Yeah, I don't think they blew it. It didn't work because
Well, shouldn't they have taken Randall Cunningham looking back, or would Randall
Donovan McNabb.
Don-
He had no
I
line in
don't
front of
know.
him.
I don't
The
know.
injuries.
You're right.
The
I
injuries
think
shortened his
we'll
career.
leave that one go because Tim probably would have had it. If Tim had been on a reasonable team, he probably would have had at least
Yes.
a solid career.
Yes.
So
Being the first pick of an expansion
right,
team.
exactly. So we'll leave
Rough.
that one. I'll leave alone.
Yeah.
And Courtney Brown, I don't remember. What
He was
He
a
got
bust.
hurt. He was a bust.
But what was there quarterback options at that point?
That was,
Well, you took
yeah.
Tim Couch
took
the year
Tim
before,
Yeah.
so you're not going
Yeah,
to
you
do.
had your
Fair
quarterback.
enough. So we got to throw that one away. Obviously, as great as Myles Garrett was, they should have drafted Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we weren't I was just saying recently when you weren't here, Dustin. I don't think we ever discussed Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson at the time.
No.
But we should have. Obviously,
Of course we should.
Yeah.
But the reason we didn't is because Patrick Mahomes played at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And was like kind of off the radar. They were 8-5.
Right.
And you were like, oh, this guy, he's got this rocket arm. Like
Yeah.
he had all this athleticism and stuff, but he was kind of like a niche product. We didn't know what he was. And a lot of people, by the way, thought it was a little bit nuts for the Chiefs to take a quarterback
That's true.
that high when they took him. And they traded with the Bills, by the way.
Yeah.
Who have been paying the
Yeah.
price for that one because they end up with Allen and they get Mahomes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bull,
And-
real quick, Bull, by the way.
Yeah.
In the Courtney Brown draft,
Yeah, who was the best quarterback that year?
Tom Brady.
Oh, God, yeah. that's
But-
right.
That's what you can do.
Chad Pennington was the only quarterback taken in the first round.
Marshall.
He was taken after the kicker. Janikowski went 17th.
I think there was a decent
Pennington 18th.
quarterback, but not a
There
franchise.
wasn't a
He had
quarterback
injuries
drafted
late,
in the
but he was a
second
good
round.
quarterback.
Yeah.
There was not a quarterback drafted in the second round?
It went Pennington.
This was
18
2000,
overall.
right? This is 2000.
Giovanni Carmazzi, who never
he
threw a
sucked.
pass in the NFL,
oh
was
my
the
God.
second
This is
quarterback
my brother's
taken.
draft.
Oh my God.
Chris Redman, also in the third round.
Redmond, Louisville,
Yeah.
And then T. Martin in the fifth.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
They took Spurgeon Wynn 16 picks before Tom Brady in the sixth.
It's unbelievable.
Where did he play college ball? I
Spurgeon Wynn?
I don't remember that.
Texas State.
Texas State.
State.
The Bobcats.
I thought that was a made-up school from
No.
the movie Necessary Roughness.
No,
No,
man.
I
so
didn't
just
realize
not a
that was
big
an actual
quarterback
school.
draft in 2000 when they took Courtney Brown. They wouldn't have
But-
taken one anyway because.
And then-
but hold on.
Yeah.
They did take Spurgeon Wynn in the sixth round, 16 picks before Tom Brady.
Man.
That's unbelievable.
For whatever
Of
it's
course
worth.
it wasn't.
If I would have been GM of any team and watched Tom Brady's workout, I wouldn't have drafted him either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. Same thing with Purdy. Like, you can't predict those things.
Right.
Right.
No,
You can't.
That's why most of the good quarterbacks were drafted in the first round. Some cases early second.
And
There's very few good quarterbacks drafted later than the second round.
It's
Hey,
a
man.
lot of
That's a
luck.
rarity.
Man. When you're third round and beyond and you hit on a quarterback,
Yeah.
a lot of
And
it
that-
is just luck.
And that's why when people like,
You know what I'd love? Here's
Yeah,
what
go ahead.
I would love.
yeah,
I would love for the Browns to, at number 2, shock the world and take a quarterback we're not talking about.
that would be a shock.
You know why? I would love it is because it would mean that that's their guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we know it. And, like, I don't give a rip about what anybody else says because they're
Yeah.
putting their nuts on the line that they're going to get their guy. Now, I don't know who that would be. It could be a Jackson Dart. Is he worthy of going
Zach
number
Jackson
2? I don't
was
know.
killing Jackson Dart yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the kid. I've watched him
Yeah.
play like 3-4 games this year.
Yeah.
And I got to study probably a little bit more of him. But, like, here's the thing. We know that Dane Brugler doesn't even have Cam or Shedeur in his top 20 prospects overall.
Right.
Not that that's the end-all be-all. I respect Dane's opinion.
Yeah.
But
One
I
opinion.
think that there's a lot of people out there that probably don't have both of these guys, maybe as top 20 prospects.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then really doesn't like if you are in love with a player, especially a quarterback, I don't care if they take him at 2. I really don't. I mean, you want to try to get the best value for the pick and the position that you're selecting. But at the end of the day, if you take him 2 or you trade down and you risk maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Get your guy.
Let me just throw this out as kind of random and no way to prove one way or the other.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe that if the Browns obviously in the last 6-7 years could have drafted Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson, 3 of the 4 best quarterbacks, maybe the 3 best quarterbacks in the
I
league?
know the question. I know the answer.
Do you think the Browns would have won a Super Bowl if they had drafted any of those 3?
No.
By
No.
now,
No.
you don't think so?
No. The Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar.
Yeah.
I bet you neither one of them has an MVP.
Oh, you don't think? So I mean, that's
Who was the coach when they of those? I'm trying to think.
Well, you
back.
would have had-
Mahomes.
Well, we had 18. Well,
Which
sorry,
was Hugh Jackson.
No,
was Hugh
Mahomes
Jackson.
was before that.
Mahomes was 17.
17.
Oh yeah,
He was
that
Miles'
was
draft.
17. Yeah.
So Hugh Jackson.
So
Hugh Jackson.
Yep.
They didn't win a Super Bowl. Hugh.
No. No. Lamar was the same year as Baker, right?
Same year,
Yep.
18.
18.
So Hugh.
So it would have been Hugh
Hugh.
Jackson.
Yeah.
So it would have
Right,
been
but he would have
Hugh-
been fired.
It would have been Hugh
probably.
and Freddie. Like that whole conga line doesn't change.
Yeah, there's no way, dude. There's no way.
Okay, but let's say it went the same way it did with the coaches. Would Kevin Stefanski, with those good? I mean, because if your answer isn't, well, if your answer is not,
It's
is
such a-
not at least that they'd be a perennial deep playoff team.
I think
then
they
that's
would
an
be.
indictment on Stefanski.
Like it's such a sliding doors question. It's
It
hard
is.
to.
It's unfair.
It's hard to. I mean, maybe Hugh Jackson's still the coach here, if they get Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
The Browns could have had the 3 of the 4. Only Burrow of the 4 best quarterbacks
Yeah.
they couldn't have.
Yeah.
They could have had Jalen Hurts.
To me, Josh Allen is the freakiest of freaky quarterbacks we've seen out of all these guys, and he doesn't even have a Super Bowl win. Hasn't been to one.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said,
And people correct me if
the
I'm
Bills
wrong.
are like a model franchise. They're run well. They've got good coaches
Yeah.
for the most part.
I don't love their head coach personally, but all right, whatever. It's my opinion.
I played for Sean, but that
Yeah.
was like 17 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he is as a head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was a position coach, he was in his 30s.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I know this much: Josh Allen's great,
Yeah.
and they're not great.
Yeah.
They get the AFC title game,
Right.
But what's that? What's that do for
do you believe the Browns would have gotten to AFC title games?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting question. And the thing, taking this back to
Yeah.
the fans, You guys would know this better than me because you were on the air every day. I don't think anybody wanted Josh Allen that year.
No, they
He
didn't
was
because
inconsistent.
it was the
He was
56%
inaccurate. Yeah,
completion
yeah, yeah.
percentage. It was played at Wyoming. It was he only threw 17 touchdowns
Yeah.
and
nobody
and
wanted
10
Lamar.
picks or whatever it was.
Yep. And nobody
no one
wanted
wanted
Lamar.
I was the only one who wanted. I wanted Josh.
dude,
Josh Rosen. I was stupid.
we all get suckered
biggest
in and sucked into whatever said on First Take.
That's
or,
right.
Or these talking heads, and we're the bonehead idiots too. I mean, we say stupid stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot, man. It is.
it is.
And the Browns are really bad at gambling.
They're
the worst.
That's a very good way to put it, Dustin. A
The
very
Browns
good way to
crap
put it.
out more than any team in
Yeah,
sports.
they're like the cooler.
Yeah.